Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Darkstalkers. So we're in the Shadow Vale version of the area we already cleaned out of enemies. Not to say that there won't be a few other enemies that pop up here and there. But, let's see, let's get to the map. Well, I missed one. Well, I guess it probably won't matter too much, but I need to go to these 4 dots that are shadow arenas and finish whatever quests they have. There is an argument in my own head that I've been thinking about. See, I can't go down this way, that's a barrier. I kind of like this effect here. And you can see it's a big eye that's pointing towards what we're supposed to go to. Maybe I should buy the scythe. Maybe that would allow me to level up the scythe as I'm working on leveling up the Chaos Eater sword a little bit. Maybe, maybe not. I guess we'll see how it goes. Now, the first trial had a bunch of zombies here and we had to beat them under a certain time. This tells me something different. What's interesting here is if I slightly move forward, you can hear like chains and steps of the boot. So you have rooms like this. Now, typically in the Zelda games, as far as I remember, you'd walk in a room, you would have to defeat a certain number of people, and you would get some kind of item or something, or there was a puzzle something in it. Here it's just a very obvious arena designed to be an arena by the bad guys. And we just have to do it. Here I need to kill 50 enemies before my infected health depletes. Bonus souls will be rewarded for any remaining health. So, if I am just killing zombies of both genders, which I want to get back to that and just applaud that for a game that's this old. Here, let's go ahead and use my stone skin to protect me for a while. So many games have had only enemies that are male. It's nice to see the game try to be equal in its treatment of the genders, because girls can be bad guys and guys can be good guys. So, and as I use the gender, both genders can be good people, to use non-gender terms. I'm about to run out of wrath, and there's a lot of stuff going on. I think I've probably run out of wrath at this point, so as soon as we get that refilled, I'll bring stone skin back on, and that way I can maintain as much health as possible. Also, I can refill the health later on. Apparently there's a green over there, but maybe I'm supposed to leave those green things alone. So if the scythe weapon is actually for faster attacks, I have to wonder if those attacks would come about and be implemented better, and I would do better on this challenge. So we do this. This refills to this guy. We turn on stone skin again. Now, this one is taking more work than the previous battle because the enemies are stronger, and I'm doing a lot of bee attacks. Gotta be careful here. So this bee is not working there because the chest was in the way. If I recall correctly, ooh, I am not in a good position at all. I'm about to die. 50 of 50 defeated, and I get a bunch of extra souls.
Excellent.
Interesting. So I get another health here. That seems kind of pointless. I guess I should have used that at the last second before I killed the last guy. And that eye is the creature that I'm trying to defeat. And when I do this, it doesn't do anything for me. So that it's kind of pointless to even hit him. Yes, but if I'm remembering correctly, there is a limit of the amount of souls that you can easily get in this game. And if you were playing on the most difficult setting, so this is the same eye as the eye in the arena room, I suppose. Or a manifestation of the same eye. We have to do all of this just to get past the gate. So if you're playing on Apocalyptic and there is a limited number of income to buy upgrades and stuff, I could certainly see wanting to get these arena runs done perfectly with no damage whatsoever. And maybe on the hardest difficulties that is the case. Okay, the gory end. Smaller, weaker enemies can be instantly killed at any time. Larger creatures must be stunned before they can be slain. Use the bee to instant kill a small or stunned creature. Kill 30 enemies using only war's instant kill attacks within the time limit. Bonus souls awarded for time left on the clock. So, the trick here is to jump up and hit B. And then jump and hit B. And you don't really even have to be anywhere close to it. Really. The problem will be when we start to run out of these things. Now to do these characters instead, you're talking a lot more stunning necessary, because I can't just go and grab this guy. Not at all. I have to do this first. At least they're not the really slow enemies that I have to do a lot of work on. And anytime I have an opportunity to kill these aerial ones, see these in particular take a long time to just animate that cutscene. Well, it's not a cutscene because you don't cut away. It's a kill camera. Maybe that would be the right phrase. See, until you get that bee, you're not ready. Now, the idea while you're doing this would be to damage as many other people around that one character. Let's see. Jump this way. Now, the other enemy here might prove to to be useful. We only need 8 more. So fighting the big guy has not proven to be very necessary up to this point. Alright, this is not good. I got 5 more. One more. And we'll just go up here and grab this guy and get it. And that just leaves those 2 big demons to die automatically, which is a lot easier than trying to fight them. Excellent. And see this guy, our assistant here, is just saying excellent. And you get a full refill on your wrath, and you get a full refill on your health. I'm pretty sure. And I probably would be at 3 health bars right now if I was playing on easy instead of normal. But I'm not really having any trouble with this game, so I really don't have anything to complain about. There have been a few spots where I felt like I might die or gotten close to dying through reckless play, but overall I'm fine. So far, at least. His sword is interesting because I wonder if there's like souls or forged into it, or if that's just the way the metal was made to look, or if there's some magic to it. And then there's a lot of questions here. It's like, was there a war before this war, or is he the first and only war? Were they going to his bosses going to replace him with a new war, or just kill him? So we need to do an aerial ball. Hold left trigger to focus on an enemy. Hold X to launch him in the air. Then press X repeatedly to combo air enemies in the air. Defeat 5 enemies within the time limit. Bonus souls are rewarded. So there was no A button there though. Like, that was one. So you don't actually get A. That was 2. So there's something along the lines, if you have them off the ground when you take that final blow, which tells me that you gotta be a little careful here, or do a little bit of damage on the ground first. That was really quick. So I don't know if that was supposed to be a lot more difficult than it really was, or what happened there. Maybe that was supposed to be a really easy one. War's reflexive instincts have awoken, allowing him to counter physical attacks and projectile threats. Press right bump right before the moment of impact to do a counter.
I always knew you had it in you.
And see, this Watcher Eye spell, whatever it is just helpless. Remember, War isn't in the Shadow Realm, or at least he isn't in the regular world. Maybe he is in the Shadow Realm in this, once he activated the transport. But he was just seeing this Shadow Realm here. And that's all 4 of them, which should now...
Must be the last of them. Let's get out of here.
I thought we might get a cut to a cutscene or something, Instead, it's just gonna be walking over here, and we'll try to awaken the gate again, and then hopefully you won't be under a spell. Takes a while for the horn to activate. Oddly, for as old as this game, for as old as this game is, and for it being remastered to run better, there's still some loading in the video player, and I know they specifically said they just increased or changed the video player in their engine with the latest patch, which probably is going to help it as they continue to patch. Hopefully, one would hope. Ravager, this enchantment increases war's damage with environmental weapon attacks. Well, I don't have any environmental weapon attacks. I think it's interesting to see where these guys go. They seem to just want to walk away. Just stepping on cars. There's a real strangeness with these guys. Yeah, they just jump somewhere. Because they don't really line up with the human world at all. There's just no logic to it. I can go ahead and kill this guy and try a couple enemies here, just to get a couple more souls, I suppose. But mostly I'm just wasting my time. Let's move forward to the next section. See, I would like to just be able to hold down right trigger and move forward and run forward the whole time. In fact, nowadays for games, I'd prefer that you're just by default always running, and then you would have to hold down a button to walk slower. That's what we've started to see in games that came after this, is they'd put in parts of games where if you walk too fast, you'd fall off the ledge. But for the most part, you're just running throughout the whole time. Running at top speed. So we go through a giant sewer. I mean, just look at the scale here. You could squeeze through these bars too, so... this is huge. It makes War half the time feel like he's way smaller than he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be slightly bigger than a human being, would be my guess, at least, based on the size of the cars. Let's go ahead and collect this, and that gives me 1906. We've got more of this happening. I guess we can check down here. And until we figure out how to break this, we won't be able to collect whatever is behind that. So, we kind of know we're going to end up backtracking. I'm going to just jump forward here. And we can see his majestic gliding and dark wings. Turn the camera around with the left trigger. So we're definitely going to come back through this area. And we'll probably run into stronger enemies, maybe in the same place, maybe in different places. And so we've got this new counterattack. The question will be, do I need to use it, or will I have the timing down enough to use it? Now, I don't really want to hit B on these guys because it takes too long. It's easier just to hit it 3 more times than it is to watch the cutscene. This is a problem with the animation just being slow. And once my sword gets strong enough, and it's doing double the damage it's doing right now, it will be only one extra hit to kill them when that red button shows up and they're stunned. And it may even get to the point where they aren't even stunned and it's just a one-hit kill the whole way. And so we go through the sewer and now we're in a cityscape again. The broken stair. Now, I'll go ahead and say it before it happens. If there was one place that gave me any trouble when playing this on the 360, it was here. This game did not particularly run smooth when it first came out. Oops. Didn't mean to hit the horn there. So, if the PC version of the game, well, it really has no reason to, even though I am running it at a much higher resolution than it would have been on the 360. It probably would have been barely doing 720 if not less. But if at 1080p it starts to lock up or just not run smoothly, I would guess it's here. We're still having that issue of the camera. It just feels like there's a sensitivity issue on the camera, because like when I get it full going, it's just not spinning as fast, I think, as if I was walking in a circle. The walking in a circle like this, look how sensitive it is. Look how fast I can just run in a circle. In comparison, I'm pushing the camera all the way to the left. It should be moving as fast as this guy's walking, and it's not. So I just think there very well may be in the options here. Hey, my Chaos Eater, like aim sensitivity XY is the only thing available to affect, and I just don't think that's gonna probably do much for the controller setup at all. There's something. I figured there was something down here, but it's a little surprising. We keep finding these collectibles because there aren't that many of them in the entire game. But I think what we're gonna find out is that each one of these areas, which by today's standards are kind of forgettable, just open areas, nice level design, there's nothing wrong with them or anything like that. They're fine. But by today's standards, they're too small. And there's just nothing amazingly memorable and interesting about them. And I think the whole game is going to end up being a small collection of these areas it's not going to stand up to like modern standards. So which way did I come? Let's go this way because I'm pretty sure I didn't swim. That's a good way to start. That's another lifestone shard. And when I got the lifestone shard, it did fill up my health. That's nice to know. And see, I think we came from this direction, so I should go this way. We have a new Vulgrim location. And finding these Vulgrim locations are actually going to be important to slightly spoil things right now. The truth is that Uh, let's see. I wish these empty vessels could be refilled and used and refilled, but I don't think that's how it works. So if I spent 2,000 on them, I think I'd just fill.
I can help you.
Interesting. Interesting that he talked to me. But he has been doing that. Let's just buy the site.
Old Vogelm's got something new for you.
So, now that I have the scythe, I don't really want to purchase anything else right now, because there's all kinds of weapon attacks, and I can't purchase immolation, and I can't purchase affliction. So saving up to 3,500 is probably very helpful, and or get Bane, which would just be a passive effect. I really wish I could buy empty vessels though. So now if it says press down to switch between war's secondary weapons. Scythe. And it's not working. No, that's because I only have one secondary weapon. So now X will do this, and this will do a slightly faster number of hits for less damage. So if I need to get a large combo, if I want to keep something stun locked, if I want to possibly kill very, very weak enemies, the Y button is the button to use. And it's kind of strange that you would just purchase it, but whatever. Not incredibly strange. Hold on, we've been going about 30 minutes, halfway there. Just gotta make sure, keep a nice eye on the clock. And so you're kind of in this broken stairs. Can't jump up there. What you would call them is, I guess, office buildings or apartment complexes or something like that. Mansions, perhaps. The real layout of some of these buildings don't make the most amount of sense. Now, fighting a demon like this, even though these are relatively weak, you can see it is taking more hits. And my combo is not going up for every time the blade comes into contact with them. It's coming up with every time I'm hitting Y. So those enemies are not really who I need to spend the weapon with. Things like this make sense. Like a nice fast attack there helps. But also, this sword would have done that too. The only difference is if I hit X, 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 it does a combo move. So I'd have to do this, then this, then this, then this, and not time it. And even when I try not to time it, it still times into a combo attack. And so we go from the apartment building into, look at the sky here. Yeah, that's a nice skybox. A little foggy. Is there anything down here? Not really. So we're now on a broken highway. And so the demon world, which I assume is hell, but no confirmation because that word is not really used in this game, at least to my knowledge, or my recollection, must be worse, obviously. 2, 3, 4. So it takes 4 of these to kill one of those guys. Let's see, we've got a health here. And I think I'd want to hold on to my health because I'm at full health anyways. So we'll leave that. 1, 2, 3. 3 hits with my regular sword, 4 hits with the scythe. I may have actually wasted my money on the scythe. And see, it's awfully quiet here. Like, we've had quite a quiet section for the past couple of minutes. So we get introduced to a new enemy, although it is an enemy we saw at the very beginning of the game. In fact, I'm not sure you really see, except for the major bosses, any new characters that that aren't just part of it. So the places where I could have hovered, those are now gone. That just bounced right over me. Like, I could possibly try to make it over to this, but I fall. And then there's a bit of health gone. And in the meantime, he made his way over here. So the game didn't pause. This guy's got big claws, and I don't want any part of it. And he's taken out a lot of damage actually. But apparently I was strong enough to cut off his claws and do that. And snap his neck. And that returns our ability to hover. And so if I needed health, which I don't, I could run back to that other area. But we know we're going to backtrack. What's interesting here is this reminds me so much of a zombie game that came out years later. There's a small section in Dead Island that looks almost exactly like that. And I wonder if maybe they resold the assets and the modelings, or if I'm just being nostalgic for another game. This is a zombie game, which is very strange considering it's also a demons and angels game. But the zombies barely mean anything. They could have been anything. Any other kind of enemies. Let's see, up there we can see something at a higher ledge that I would like to get up to, but I don't think I can. So we're looking all around here. I can jump down to lower floors that way. So this requires a key to stab in the eye of that creature to unlock that. And we haven't dealt with that yet, so that's something we'll deal with by going down the stairs. I mean, we're still learning gameplay mechanics here. Still finding collectibles, which I'm enjoying that element. It would be a really hard argument to make to try to say that this game is better than Ocarina of Time, or even that this game is better than Breath of the Wild, which has just come out. I mean, those are almost impossible arguments to make. Maybe somebody could come back and say they just don't like the kiddiness of the Zelda games, and they like that this is more mature. So it's Beholder's Key, an ornate key with a symbol of an eye engraved into it, unlocks a nearby barrier. But ignoring that argument, Zelda is Zelda. It's probably highly unlikely anything will ever be as good as Zelda. I'll fully admit that. But that being said, this is a very close second to at least Ocarina of Time. You don't have somebody going, hey, listen, throughout this entire game. You've noticed that our assistant character, which is blatantly ripped off, of course, does not pop out to say much of anything. And when he does pop out to say anything, he says, excellent, and that's it. One word. Very bloody there. This might have been one of those games, too, that had the blood turned off by default to get a lower rating. So we've just been fighting demons since we got back to Earth. Up to this point. We have not seen a single angel.
This way.
So you could have easily
It's
assumed
nothing.
that the
Some
angels
demon trick.
lost
I know what I saw.
completely.
He's right.
Uriel.
So this was...
It's there, beneath the stench of this place. You can sense it, ancient. From neither the White City nor the Black Depths, something lost between.
So he steals a griffin, which apparently the angels had. And he needed this to get to the...
To arms!
Slay him!
to get further towards the demon boss. He needed to fly. So angelic mount. Press the right trigger to shoot. Press and hold right trigger to tag enemies for homing shots. So this is something that happened every now and then on games. Particularly in this game it makes a lot of sense because it was Vigil Games, a new subdivision, a new company under THQ, just experimenting on programming. It's amazing that this was actually their first game. This and Darksiders 2, I think, were the only two games they even made. So they're experimenting here with a rail-mounted creature that's firing, well, a rail-mounted firing sequence here. So we're gonna fly. I assume we're gonna have some control over the griffin. Maybe we don't. Yeah, we can fly around, and we fire the angel thing at them, and we can sit there and target things with the right stick for homing shots. I don't believe there's going to be any collectibles in this section, because if there were, then it wouldn't, well, I wouldn't be able to come back and collect it later, because obviously this is only a one-time thing. So again, Death seems to be given carte blanche to kill whoever he wants. Angels, demons, it doesn't seem to matter at all to him. Doesn't seem like these homing missiles really do too much. There's a demon throwing something at him there. You can see all the angels, the Hell Guard. I guess they were supposed to guard Hell and make sure it didn't escape. Here we've got a bigger, stronger guy with some kind of missile shot shooting at me. Oops. That was a lot of damage. See, you can hear the lock on, and it's kind of an annoying sound. We're getting a decent amount of return on souls. I can only imagine that the souls that the angels collect are the souls of the dead humans, or they have their own souls, perhaps. And as you kill an enemy in this world, you collect the souls of those people, and thus eventually the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse will kill everybody in the universe and collect all their souls into one big mass, and maybe that's how the balance is achieved. There's a slight problem I'm feeling here. Let's go ahead and use this crystal because I don't want to die. I wish I hadn't had to use it, but okay. This is a lot of pulling the right trigger. Just a lot of that shouldn't be happening. It's tiring my fingers out, and I've noticed that with the X button too a little bit, but not too bad. Just a lot of... Let's just try all of these. I'm such a bad shot here. The system doesn't work that well. It probably works a lot better if you were playing with a mouse and keyboard on that one sequence, but it really wouldn't be my cup of tea if you were playing that way with the whole game. Here we have a gate, and we have a bunch of like small demon bats going in this cave. And now we have some more fire bats. Maybe I should keep everything moving around so I don't get hit. I'm such a bad shot with this. Trying to control both the location of myself and the cursor that I'm shooting is more difficult than you might think. And see, we're flying through this section, and it looks like even a few parts of this section might actually might be retraceable when I'm off this griffin, but I bet not. Not much, at least. Some of this looks like there might be paths, but some of it doesn't. Well, there goes a path if that was going to be one of them. And you see, we got a major demon here trying to defeat me. And so we did this sub-boss battle, and then we go into this different sequence for another boss battle. And it's, I guess, a good thing that they did things differently, because if they hadn't done things differently, then they would have, it would have been 2 battles right back to back of the same thing. So you can break some of these, but it doesn't seem like there's anything in them. Let's just try to get as many of those hit as possible. Yeah, by the time I'm done here, I'm gonna have 4,000 souls, so I wouldn't be very surprised if we run into Virgil immediately, and then are able to purchase something. I suppose my purchase of the scythe has proven to be at least ill-timed. I really need a health up more than anything else. And it would prove to be very frustrating for any player if at this point I started dying a lot and I needed to move down the easy and that wasn't an option, which it very well may not, because I can't recall seeing it as an option in the files. So if I had to start over from this point 3 hours in, that's That's a big ask. Hopefully that's not what's going to happen, though. See, I tried to lock on that guy and it didn't work. So, I believe that's the main boss right there. Killed my griffin. And then flew away.
Tiamat, I assume? Guess she wasn't up for having visitors today.
So, there's no going back as I walk into a stop sign. There may be collectibles around here, though, if I keep an eye out on it. Very jagged edges of the map. I like that. It shows a nice feel of destruction. Let's see. How much health do I need refilled? Quite a bit, actually. So I am up to 4,000. It took a little longer than I thought it would. And we are looking everywhere. And what do you know? Vulgrim. So, restore some of War's health. Completely restore all of War's health. Undying for 3,000. An empty crystal for 2,000. Or stone skin level 2.
You are as wise as you are powerful.
And we've gone quite a distance and not found any life essence jewels. Which tells me I probably should buy one. But I don't want to. I don't want to potentially waste my souls, my currency. Because if it does get down to grinding in this game, it's going to not be very fun. There's no great area that we've seen, at least so far, where I can kill a lot of enemies and get a lot of souls for it. Here we have something also frozen between this. Do I want that now or later? I'll take it now. That may be a mistake, but I don't know. And we can't go that direction either, because that's some kind of hookshot ability, obviously, that we don't have. And we've already seen places where that was supposed to be used. So it's definitely got that Metroidvania style of design. So what kind of statue is this? It's a statue of a man praying with a ring of light behind him and angel wings. So this is like some kind of angelic church, but not particularly a Christian church. Some kind of angels from this world, from this game church. And inside we see a statue. We hear some sounds.
Over here.
Like, here you have like another angel lady.
Oh, don't make me call you again.
Oh, he is nasty. What, take the sword? The elaborate crystal blade is identical to the mounted on the statues of what? We get some different music here. Did I pick up some item in that? Let's go ahead and assign this. there. So the description there changed, went away too fast. And I'm going to use this new sword instead of the Chaos Blade. Interesting. And here's like a demon sword. So it's a demon red sword and a crystal white sword. So we give it to this statue. The statue moves and it turns red and the door opens. So there's some strangeness definitely going on, that this seems like an angel temple that got taken over by the demons. In fact, it seems like the angels are getting their butts handed to them quite a lot. And even at the beginning of the fight, they seemed underprepared for the apocalypse. Which I guess it wouldn't have really worked very well as a game if we were killing angels the whole time. Then you'd just be playing Bayonetta, and boy do I wish I could play Bayonetta on PC, or Bayonetta 2 even. Why not both? So we're gonna just jump across this point. And you have the head of the statue being held by some creepy tentacle monster. And we've got a guy coming this way. And there's a dismount when you do this, so just point. The trick is just to point the enemy, or point yourself. There's another statue that wants another sword. And I don't think I can get anywhere else until that is satisfied. Is somebody attacking? And see, there's these nests that I think are causing them to spawn up there. So I don't think those guys are gonna ever stop. And there's no walking behind this thing. But you can't ride them to get to a higher place. Let's go this way and see if this door is open. This door is open, okay. And see, we see a clearly obvious crack in the ground where they want us to break the ground with the statue from above. I could see a few people not getting that's what you're supposed to do, but I think most people would figure it out rather quickly. And here we have a statue of an angel with a boob hanging out, but not too bad, really. I mean, that's classical art, statue making, really 101. So historically accurate is what you could call it. Not that anything else is really historically accurate in this. It's a history of a different world. There is, I guess, a good argument or thought to have about them just rebooting Darksiders instead of trying to continue the game. Just same story in general, same concept. This time, instead of a planned trilogy, we're gonna make one game that tells a full story, and then they could throw a time travel element or something in it where there's a reason why they might make a sequel in a different world. So I could just run through all of these for 1 soul, but it's not really worth it. Even if you were gonna dodge through all of this, it's a waste of your time. Maybe on the Armageddon difficulty it would make sense. We need a beholder key over there, and we have, let's see, the door we came in on, something we can't access over there, the statue we're supposed to knock over, and then 2 doors over here that we're supposed to get to. And they're all on this map. That the light blue and the dark blue, the lighter grayish blue is the higher tier, but still technically on the same level because there's several other levels happening here in the game. For bomb growth, grab and throw a sticky bomb onto objects or enemies before it detonates. Strike it for an instant explosion. So you take this, you throw it, and it blows up the red crystals. Nice to know. There's a green health here. I'm gonna leave it alone. Looking up here just to make sure there's not something that we needed to blow up first. We've got a lot of shaking and rattling and rolling. Let's go ahead and take this. Greater life essence. Completely regenerates all of War's health. That's good to have. Those are going to come few and far between, but nice to have nonetheless. Nice little ivy vines. But if you get up close to them and start looking, you can definitely see 7 Years has done some amazing things for textures of 3D models and 3D modeling in general. These are flat little pieces of paper with a very low texture quality on them. It still looks very good for what it is. It's just not as good as if this game was remade today. Hey, we get a map. So, on this, at the top left, you have a map, a item detector, and I imagine there's a boss detector or secrets detector or something that we'll collect for most of the areas. Although some areas may never find out all of those. But we can certainly see the main boss is in this big arena room and quite far away. Push that way and we've created a new path. And we get the little violin song to tell us we've created a new path. Alright. Now, to move this direction, we would have to hit this or something, which I don't have any projectile attacks right now. So let's go this way. And now we are up here, and we'll collect this. And like I could jump off and try to kill that thing, but I do not think it would work. So we'll move back this way. The only thing I could think of possibly doing would be to open this door, run in here, pick up this, and then come over here. And see, he can't do it. And I guess I'll go ahead and take this. So, doors are there to stop you, obviously. And down we go. Wouldn't it be weird if I landed right here and it just poked through and killed me? There were games that were definitely like that. Not like Dark Souls these days, where Dark Souls is a really fair game, but a very difficult game. Strategically, you have to be good and know those invincibility frames. But there used to be games that you just wouldn't have a clue what you did wrong, or what you're supposed to what you were supposed to do to not die. Dragon's Lair is a great example of that. You just had to memorize the solution. King's Quest was also another. All the Sierra point-and-click games, in fact, had crazy logic that you do one thing and die, and it would be something simple like eat an apple. Oh no, you were poisoned by the apple. How were you supposed to know? The chaos either courses with energy and destructive power increases. So it becomes even less important now to do that. Look, we have a collectible up over there too. I'm very surprised that we were collecting all these collectibles that fast, but even if I get 5, that's still 22 to go. I haven't really leveled up my scythe very much, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to buy it, is because I think when we get into boss fights, I'll try and use it some more when I get into fights with really big enemies, because Chaos Eater, unless it becomes exponentially more difficult to level it up, it's going to be at max before we even get to the second of the 4 sub-bosses. And if there's any more game between the 4 sub-bosses and the final boss, which there may or may not be, that's just even more of that happening. I have an empty vessel? Ooh. Well, then how do I fill an empty vessel? Like, what do you do? Like, how do you fill that empty vessel? Or do you not? Am I limited, even if I was going to go to Virgil to purchase more things? Am I limited to empty vessels? So I could only fill something that I already had? That would be weird. We still got a lot of abilities and a lot of equipment to unlock, though. And most importantly, I need more lifestone shards. I'm hopefully, before we beat the boss, we get 1 lifestone shard. And by beating the boss, we got another lifestone shard and a wraith shard somewhere in the middle of that, too. That would be ideal. And I'm down to only 933 souls, so we need to collect a lot more of that. And there's still a lot more collectibles to find. I imagine it might be more difficult to collect these inner ring collectibles than these outer ring ones, so it might be really easy to find all these soldier artifacts and really hard for everything else. Let's go and save the game because we're wrapping up here. And let's see, I want to look at some of this stuff that they have here. I want to look at the options first. Is there a way to change difficulty? No, not as far as I can see at all. And then if we go back over to the map, your statistics are hidden back behind this, which is weird. We've been playing now according to the game for 2 hours and 7 minutes, which is not true. We've been playing for at least 3 hours, and our total in-game combat has barely been 30 minutes. There's a lot of cutscenes. We've now somehow traveled 26 miles. No, we haven't. Even if you put several miles in that griffin flying mechanic, that's still too high. And our highest combo is still 37, and I bet that doesn't change for a while. We spilled over 1,000 gallons of demon blood. Never enough demon blood spilled. Let's go back to this pause menu now, and we're done with this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. If you want to support or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.